The pivotal point of the 29th day of the Karen Read retrial was the second motion for mistrial in as many days based on the admitted misbehavior of prosecution lawyer Hank Brennan. Defense lawyer Alessi declared that, after recent events and judges' decisions, at some point this has to come to an end. At some point Mr. Read's rights have to be protected.
Brennan had produced a sweatshirt worn by John O'Keefe, and according to the defense, Hank Brennan had shown John O'Keefe's sweatshirt to jurors with holes in the back, making it look like the holes were as a result of a collision instead of being cut by a prosecution criminalist. It was, however, already known to the prosecutant that the holes were made by the state's own expert team.
Cannone immediately rejected the motion for mistrial, despite Brennan admitting what he called a mistake, and instead opted to give the jury a one-sentence direction that jurors, I instruct you that those holes were made by the criminalist during the course of her inspection and sampling of the sweatshirt back on May 18, 2023. Whether or not that balances the force and aggression with which Brennan introduced the evidence remains to be seen.
After the voir dire session, with a professor and practitioner of forensic pathology of 40 years' experience and over 50 dog bite autopsies, and supervised an additional 70, the judge determined that Dr. Lapaseta cannot testify for the defense about dog bite wounds, saying she didn't have enough experience. Cannone also limited what Dr. Lapaseta can testify about O'Keefe's injuries in relation to being hit by a vehicle. Once the testimony started, Dr. Lapaseta said that the brain injuries were likely caused by failing backwards onto a ridged surface, but not a flat surface. Additionally, O'Keefe had a separate injury above his right eye.
Earlier, the final day of the accident reconstruction expert, Dr. Wolf, focused around holes in the clothing of the test dummy that Brennan had claimed were evidence that were consistent with John O'Keefe's clothing. Additional evidence not introduced by the prosecution was shown to indicate that the more extensive bruising and wounds consistent with such clothing were not present on John O'Keefe.